every man's a man. You can walk on 2 legs. You're a man.
Right. That's right.
It's as simple as that.
Well, Matthew McConaughey stars as a Mississippi farmer new tonight in The Free State of Jones, a tale of Civil War rebellion and shaggy beards, as you just saw there. Now, for his take on the flick and others in theaters right now, we're joined by film critic Richard Crouse. And thank you so much for joining us, Richard. We want to start, actually, we'll get to Matthew McConaughey and his all right. But we want to start with basically a sequel, Independence Day 2.
Well, it's a zeitgeisty weekend at the movies if you think about what's happening with Brexit, because you've got Independence Day opening and Free State of Jones, which are both movies about asserting your independence. So here we have movies that fall sort of ripped from the headlines. Independence Day Resurgence, 20 years in the making. It is a sequel to the movie that made Will Smith a movie star. And, you know, I wanted it to be better. You'd think after 20 years they would have gotten this one right. But it is essentially a movie that uses the template sent by the first movie. So when you go see a big special effects movie like this, you want to be filled with a sense of wonder. You want the sort of shock and awe of all of these special effects coming at you. But instead, you're kind of overcome with a huge sense of deja vu. It's essentially the same movie. There's a lot of the same actors. Jeff Goldblum, who's always great no matter what. He's not given much to work with here. But it's the kind of movie where the actors don't really talk to one another. They just ask a lot of questions. What the heck is going on here? What's that thing over there? And then, of course, the classic, what the? Look, that's what this movie is from top to bottom. And it's, you know, for me anyway, is it Independence Day? No, it's more like Groundhog Day, because I felt like I'd seen it all before. It's a 1 star out of 5 movie for me.
Okay, well, Independence Day didn't cut it. How about The Shallows?
The Shallows is Blake Lively, and this is kind of
Blake is back?
Blake is back. Gossip Girl. She's got 2 movies coming out this year. The new Woody Allen film she stars in as well, called Cafe Society, a little bit later on this year. This is a much different movie, though. This is her as a surfer. She's on a remote beach in Mexico. She's having a great day. The beach is called Paradise, and then trouble comes to paradise in the form of a giant great white shark who cannot wait to make fish food out of Blake Lively. So she gets stranded on a little rock about 200 feet offshore, and when the tide comes in, she's going to have some real problems. So it's about her figuring out how to get from that rock to the shore without becoming human tartar for the fish.
Sounds terrifying.
It is quite terrifying. By moments. A lot of it, though, is Blake Lively on a rock talking to a seagull, and it really reminded me more of like a Sports Illustrated layout with a big shark rather than a thrilling story. So it's a 2 out of 5 star movie for me.
Maybe even reminded you of Castaway a bit? No?
Castaway without the volleyball, yeah.
All right, now let's get back to Free State of Jones with Matthew McConaughey and his shaggy beard. What did you think?
Well, this is, you know, Matthew McConaughey's kind of latest entry into what people are calling the McConaissance. He is an actor who made a lot of romantic comedies. He was often seen shirtless, running down a beach, about to leap into the arms of Kate Hudson or whoever was on the opposite end of his affections. Then he left all that behind and started making edgier, more difficult movies like Killer Joe and The Lincoln Lawyer. And then he made True Detective, and people are like, wow, this guy can really act. This should have been the next kind of jewel in the crown of the McConaissance. Instead, though, it is a long film. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes that just bites off more than it can chew. It wants to be a big epic. It's based on a true story. It's a good story. It's just not very well told here. So 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5 for the McConaissance?
I know.
Oh, dear. Okay, now the Neon Demon. This sounds really interesting.
The Neon Demon is the very definition of a movie that won't be for everybody. This is from Nicholas Refn. He's the director of a movie called Drive a few years ago with Ryan Gosling. If you like that one, you'll know what the tone is here. This is set in the fashion world in Los Angeles, and there's a young model who has just moved to Los Angeles, but played by Elle Fanning, and she's having some difficulty fitting in. It's part horror movie, part sort of just shallow look at what happens. For me, it's a 3 star out of 5 star movie, but keep in mind, not for everybody.
Okay, lots of twists and turns in that as well. Richard Crouse, thank you so much.
Thank you.